Michael Ryan, who was already a firearms holder, he'd applied for a certificate before I came on the scene, but he added to his list of firearms over the course of time. Now, the laws in those days were a lot more lax. You could basically own a Kalashnikov if you had a reason for having one. I mean, the irony of it is, a Kalashnikov is a killing weapon. I mean, all firearms are killing weapons. Although, because he was he was a member of a firearms club in Devizes. I think he was also a member of a pistol club somewhere. But if he could show justification for using a Kalashnikov in those days, which would have been a semi-automatic weapon at that time, it wasn't fully automatic, it was semi-automatic, then as long as he passed the criteria that he was a fit and proper person, then you'd approve it. To me, it was just a job that I would do 2 or 3 times a week, going around checking gun cabinets, doing checks on the person to see if there was any reason why they shouldn't have a firearm certificate or shotgun certificate. And although Michael Ryan lived in the next street, which is the other side of my house, he wasn't a person I really knew, and he was very quiet, he was a loner. It was a close-knit community, without a doubt, and I think that certainly helped the town recover. It certainly helped me, because although I dealt with Michael Ryan's applications on occasion, people didn't hold that against me. I was in a unique position, being a local police officer and a victim as such, and they knew what I was going through, and I knew what they were going through. You go to a crime as someone with a firearm, what do you do? What would you do? Who knows what you do until it happens to you? I mean, now it's set out in black and white what you should do. You should try and contain the scene, keep out of the way, and call for firearms teams. You know, that's a sensible and correct way to deal with it. But if you're put on a spot, you know, you're in a life and death situation, what do you do?
And although Michael Ryan used a handgun to kill half his victims, no one ever took any notice of the handgun. It was the AK-47 model rifle that they fixated on. So semi-automatic assault type weapons were prohibited above .22 caliber, and pump action shotguns. Not that that was particularly relevant. And nothing was done about the handgun he had. And they also at that point introduced a new body called the Firearms Consultative Committee, which was to advise the Home Office on firearm safety, really.
It was the first time anything like this had happened in this country. So Parliament obviously had to look at what had happened. People were alarmed that it was so easy to possess killing weapons, even though they'd been authorised. I think the laws that were changed were right to change. Uh, like to think it made it safer, um, but you're never ever going to stop criminals killing people.
In 2021, there was some new statutory guidance issued by the Home Office to chief constables around the kinds of things they ought to be monitoring more effectively when they do firearms licensing. There's been a long-standing issue around the adequacy of firearms licensing. As I mentioned before, some forces doing it badly. And following the shooting at Plymouth in 2021, there were concerns when the guy who carried out the shooting, it turned out that he had his firearm confiscated, and then because the case he was charged with never actually went to court, the CPS dropped it, and I don't think he was ever fully prosecuted for the offence.